Hello everyone, it's Glenda and welcome back to my channel, Creative Grandma. Today's crochet tutorial is for the Spring Bloom Chunky Throw. So let me tell you all about the Afghan, and then I'm going to tell you what you're going to need to make your Afghan today. It's a beautiful crocheted Afghan that looks knit by using the Tunisian knit stitch. So let me tell you all about it. So here is an up-close look at our crocheted throw that looks knit. Now this throw measures 37 inches across by 42.5 inches long. Now the one thing I want to mention is I would not make this for a newborn baby. If you want to make this pattern for a newborn baby, then you would have to adjust the pattern and use a lightweight yarn, probably a number 3 lightweight yarn. It will be a smaller size, or you can increase your chain and make it larger. But this is way too heavy for a newborn, because if this would cover a newborn's head and they were not strong enough to get this off their face, I would be afraid this might smother them. So please, this is for a toddler. This is for a young child who can drag it around the house and make sure it's not on their face and they can lift it off their body. It's a beautiful Afghan, but it is made for a toddler and not a newborn baby. So again, if you want to make this for a newborn baby, drop that yarn down to maybe a number 2 or a number 3 fine or lightweight yarn, and then just use a hook size that you get a beautiful gauge and a beautiful stitch. So let's begin with your material list. Now I don't have a label for this yarn because I made this blanket and then I threw it in a tote. I got it out and the instructions, and I had no label. So I printed this paper out so you could see what yarn you need to buy. Now these are Premier yarns. I'll have an affiliate link in the description box. If you want to purchase your yarn directly from Premier, just click that link. You can go in and you can find the yarn and order it directly. So the first color we're going to need is the Bloom Chunky, and this is color number 1114-14 Tulip. Now the Bloom Chunky is a number 5 bulky weight yarn. It's 100% acrylic. It comes in a 3.5 ounce, 100 gram, 100 meter, 109 yards per skein. So you're going to need 5 skeins of the Premier Bloom Chunky in the color Tulip, or a color of your choice. If you click the link, you can see all the beautiful colorways that they have in this Bloom Chunky, or you can use the Tulip as I did in this video. You're also going to need 2 skeins of the Premier Serenity Chunky. This comes in a 109 yards, 100 meter, 3.5 ounces, and 100 grams. It's 100% acrylic. It's a number 5 bulky weight yarn. And both of these yarns are machine wash gentle, tumble dry low. So you can throw this in the washer and dryer. So that's what I like so much about it. So again, 5 skeins of the Premier Bloom Chunky in the color Tulip, and 2 skeins of the Premier Serenity Chunky in the color Cloud Dancer, the white. You're also going to need a long Afghan hook. Now this is a larger size. It might be harder to find. This is size P16 or 11.5 millimeter. So I like using the longer Afghan hooks. I make all my Afghans using like a long 14-inch Afghan hook, but they do make Afghan cable hooks, which is going to be easier for you to find, where you find part of it is a crochet hook and then the rest will be like a plastic cord, and then it will have an end on the plastic cord, and you can get them in different lengths. So again, you're going to need a Afghan hook size P16 or 11.5 millimeter, and if you can find one of these, that would be wonderful, and if not, then look for a cabled Afghan hook. You're also going to need a size K 10.5 or 6 millimeter crochet hook to do your border, a pair of scissors, and a yarn needle for weaving in your ends. So that's everything you're going to need today to make your Afghan. So let's go ahead, jump right in, and let's get started. I already have my yarn attached to my hook, and I just used a double knot. To begin our project, we're going to chain 75. You're going to yarn over, pull through the loop on your hook, and this creates your first chain. The loop on your hook does not count as a chain. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue until you have a total of 75 chains, and I'll be back and we'll start row 1. So I have my chain with 75 chains made. Now we're ready to begin row 1 of our blanket. Now with the Tunisian stitch, there's 2 different ways that you can start your chain. You can just go under the top loop, yarn over and pull through and keep your loops on, but we're going to do it a little bit differently. Now we're going to go into the back loop. So when you look at your chain, when you turn it over, I'm going to pull my hook out so I can twist this chain around. When you look on the back of your chain, you're going to see this back bump is what I call it. It's a horizontal stitch that goes straight across the center of your chains. So we're going to be inserting our hook underneath this horizontal bar right here behind each chain to work our stitch. And I'll show you the beautiful edging that it puts on. And the reason we're doing it this way is because it really is more beneficial when you're trying to put a border on your Afghan. You can really see the top of those stitches. So let's go ahead and start row 1. You're going to skip this first chain because this loop counts as the first stitch. You're going to go into the next chain, turn it over, and go into that back bump, that strand of yarn that goes straight across the center. Yarn over and pull through. You're going to keep your loop on your hook. Now you're going to go to your next chain, and you'll see that center strand right there. Just flip your chain over, insert into that back bump or that horizontal bar, yarn over and pull through. Find your next chain. You're going to flip it over and then go back into that back bump, yarn over and pull back through. And again, we're keeping all of our loops on the hook. Find your next chain. You're going to flip your chain over, insert into that back center strand of yarn, the back bump, yarn over and pull through. Let's do it again. Find your next chain, flip your chain over, insert into that back center bar, that yarn, and then yarn over and pull through. And when you look at the bottom of your work, do you see how you're seeing the teardrop? And when you come back around to do your Afghan border, it's so easy to see your stitches when you do it this way. That's why we're working into the back bumps. So I'll show you one more time, and then you can continue on your own. Find your next chain, flip it over, insert under that center strand of yarn, yarn over and pull through, and keep your loop on your hook. So go ahead and continue in that manner till you get to the very end, work in the very last chain. I'll meet you there, and then I'll show you how to do the return pass. I'm over at the end of my forward pass. I have 1 chain remaining, so I'm just going to flip it over. I'm going to go into that last chain under that bar, and sometimes I just stick my hook in there and then catch that middle strand with my hook and pull my hook back out. And then you're going to yarn over and pull through. Now when you get over to the end of the row, you're going to have a total of 75 loops. So however many chains that you made is how many loops you have. So we chained 75, you should have 75 loops on your hook. So now to take your loops off the hook, we're going to do what's called the return pass. To do the return pass, you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through 1 loop only. And that is how you start your return pass. Then you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through 2 loops only. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops only. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And you're just going to repeat the yarn over and pull through 2 loops until you get to the very end of the row, and you'll end with 1 loop on your hook. So go ahead and continue, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Continue until all loops are removed and you have 1 loop remaining on your hook, and I'll meet you at the end of row 1. So I'm almost over at the end of my return pass. I have 2 loops, so you just end the row by yarning over and you're going through both of those 2 loops, and you have 1 loop on your hook, and this loop counts as the first stitch of the next row. So row 1 was our base row. Row 2 will be your repeat row, and we're going to be working the Tunisian knit stitch. So let's go ahead and begin row 2. Now Tunisian crochet is so much fun and it's so easy to do. For the knit stitch, you're going to see that you have a loop here, and it's almost like a horseshoe. If you follow it up, it's going to come around the back and come back down. You're going to have these 2 strands coming through the top of that stitch. To work the knit stitch, you're going to go under those top 2 loops, but you want to stay inside what I want to say the horseshoe. So you're just going to insert your hook underneath this first vertical stitch, but you want to make sure you're between the top and the back vertical stitch. So you're just going to go through right through the center. See that horseshoe shape? Go right in through that space and go right out through the back. You're going to grab your yarn and you're going to pull it through. And what happens when you do this is it's bringing that back loop up and forward to create that knit stitch. Now we're just getting started, so you can't see it quite as well until you do a few more rows. So let's do it again. You're going to find your next stitch, this vertical stitch, and you're going to follow it up around and see the horseshoe. You want to go right in between those 2 strands, that top and back strand right through the horseshoe, I'm going to call it, front to back all the way to the back, yarn over and then pull through those 2 strands of yarn. So find your next stitch, this next vertical stitch that goes up and down, and then again you're going to follow it. It's going to go up, form a horseshoe, and then you're just going to go in between the top and bottom loop underneath these 2 that go across the top. Go underneath those and right between that top and bottom strand of yarn through the horseshoe all the way to the back, yarn over and pull through. And again, you can see how it pulls that up and creates that knit stitch look. Again, find your next stitch. Insert right into the center. You're going right in the middle of that horseshoe shape of that stitch. Insert from front to back, yarn over and pull through. Find your next stitch. Again, look for the horseshoe shape, and you want to go right in between the top and bottom loop, right into that space. Front to back, yarn over and pull through. So let me show you one more time. Again, you're going to find your next stitch, that next vertical stitch. You're going to follow it up and around and it creates a horseshoe. You're just going to insert between the top and that bottom strand right into that space, front to back, yarn over and pull back through. So, okay, I'll show you one more time. Find your next vertical stitch. Again, you're going to follow it up and around the horseshoe shape, and you're going to insert right into the center space between the top and bottom stitch of that horseshoe, front to back, yarn over and pull through. And that's all there is to making the knit stitch. You're keeping all your loops on the hook. So go ahead and continue in that manner across your row, keeping all loops on your hook, and I'll meet you at the end of the forward pass of row 2. I'm over at my last stitch of the forward pass of row 2, and how you're going to finish the row is you're going to do it by going under the last 2 strands of the stitch. So when you look at your stitch, you're going to see the vertical stitch come up and over, but then you also have a strand of yarn back here behind it. So what you want to do is you're going to insert under the top vertical stitch of the last stitch, and then you just want to grab the vertical stitch right underneath on the edge. So you're going under 2 strands of yarn for the last stitch. You're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 strands of yarn. And it just creates the nice teardrop to show the end of the row. That way your stitches are the same on all four sides, and you're going to have that beautiful look. And when you do your border, it's going to be so easy to see your stitches of where your next stitch will go. So now to do the return pass, it's going to be done exactly the same as the last row. You're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through one loop only. Then you're going to take all your loops off by yarning over and pulling through two loops. Yarn over and pull through two loops. Yarn over and pull through two loops. Yarn over and pull through two loops, and you're going to continue and yarn over and pull through two loops until one loop remains on your hook and counts as the first stitch of the next row. So go ahead and continue, and you're going to yarn over and pull through two loops until you get to the end of the row, and I'll meet you there. I'm over at the end of row 2. I have 2 loops remaining, and again you're just going to yarn over, pull through both loops, and you'll have one loop on your hook, and it counts as the first stitch of the next row. So now to continue working on your blanket, you're just going to repeat row 2. So I'm going to go ahead and do row 2 with you one more time. Now with the Tunisian crochet, it is going to roll. So the more rows you work, the more it's going to want to roll up. And this will be corrected when we put our border on. The weight of the border will pull this back down and keep your Afghan straight. So let's go ahead and repeat row 2 again. Again, the first loop counts as the first stitch. Then you're going to find your next vertical bar. You're going to follow it up and around for the horseshoe. You're going to insert into that space underneath these 2 top strands. Make sure you're going underneath these and into the space between the top and bottom loop of that next stitch, all the way to the back. Yarn over and pull back through. Find your next stitch. Again, you're going to follow it up and around. This is your top strand, this is your bottom. Insert right into the center of that horseshoe shape, yarn over and pull through. Find your next vertical stitch. Again, this is your stitch going up and around, creating the horseshoe. You're just going to go right in the center between the top and bottom strand of yarn, front to back, all the way through. Yarn over and pull back through. I'll show you one more time. Find your next stitch, your next vertical stitch that runs up and down. Again, it goes up and back around, creating the horseshoe. You're going right into the center space between the top and that bottom strand. Insert into that space, front to back, yarn over and pull through. Repeat that across to within the very last stitch, and I'll meet you there and show you how to finish the forward pass. I'm over at the last stitch of row 3. We're just repeating row 2 again, and when you get to the very last stitch, again you're going to see how your vertical stitch goes up and over. You want to just catch that top vertical stitch, and then you want to grab that vertical stitch right below, and you have 2 strands of yarn. You're going to yarn over and pull through both strands of yarn, and that ends the forward pass of row 3. And again, you can see your stitches on the side of your work. So now we're going to go ahead and remove our loops, and again the return pass is always the same. You're going to yarn over and pull through one loop only to start your return pass. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And you're just going to continue with yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and continue until one loop remains on your hook, and I'll meet you at the end of row 3. I'm over at the end of row 3. I have 2 loops remaining, and you're just going to end the row by yarning over and going through both of those last 2 loops until one loop remains on your hook, and this loop will count as the first stitch of the next row. So to continue working on your Afghan, you're just going to repeat row 2 over and over again until you have a total of 110 rows. So again, do not let that curling scare you. That's going to be corrected when we do our border. So again, repeat row 2 until you have a total of 110 rows, and I'll meet you at the end of row 110. I'm over at the end of row 110. This is what our Afghan looks like. It's too big to get the whole entire Afghan in my viewfinder, but just a beautiful look to this yarn. So now we're ready to begin row 111. Now this first loop on the hook counts as our first stitch. Now to work this row, we're going to work it in the same manner. We're going to go right into that space between the top and bottom vertical loop, but then we're going to yarn over and pull through all loops on our hook. So let's go ahead and start row 111. You're going to find your next vertical stitch. You're going to insert in the same manner right between the top and bottom strand of that horseshoe shape right into that space, front to back, yarn over. You're going to pull through that space of that stitch and then pull through the loop on your hook. And this is how we're going to work across the top of our Afghan. Find your next vertical stitch. Again, you're working between the top and bottom loop of that horseshoe shape. Insert right into the center of that horseshoe shape, front to back, yarn over. You're going to pull back through that stitch and then pull through the loop on your hook. And you can see how it's starting to form the top of those stitches with that little teardrop shaping. Find your next vertical stitch. Again, if you need to, use your fingers. Open that stitch up. Here's the front top loop. Follow it to the back loop and then insert right into the center. Yarn over, pull through that stitch and pull through the loop on your hook. Find your next vertical stitch. You're going to insert between the top and bottom strand of that horseshoe shape. Insert right into that space. Yarn over, pull through that space and pull through the loop on your hook. Let's do it a couple more times together. Find your next vertical stitch. Again, if you need to, use your finger. Open up that stitch, follow it from front to back, the horseshoe shape, and then insert right between the front and back loop, right into the center of that horseshoe shape. Yarn over, pull back through, and pull through the loop on your hook. And again, you can see how it forms the top of the stitches. So let's do it one more time. Find your next vertical stitch. Again, if you need to, open that stitch up. Follow it right around the horseshoe shape and then insert between the top and bottom strand right through the center of that horseshoe. Yarn over, pull back through that stitch and pull through the loop on your hook. And that's all there is to working across the top of your Afghan. So go ahead and continue working in that manner across the top of your Afghan. If you need additional help, just click back on the video. I'll meet you at the very last stitch across. I'm over at the very last stitch of row 111, and you can see how that slip stitching forms the top of the stitches. Makes it very easy when you do your border. So now to finish the row, we're at our last stitch. You're going to insert under that top vertical strand and then the strand right below. So you have two strands plus the loop on your hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through the two strands and pull through the loop on your hook. Row 111 is finished. So we're finished with the Tulip multicolored yarn or self-striping. So I'm just going to fasten off, and again, I do leave a longer length. I chain 2, 1, 2, pull my hook up, pull the yarn out, grab, pinch, pull down, and it creates a secure knot. So when you look at your Afghan, you are going to see it wants to roll. And again, the border is going to help make this lay flat. So now we're going to switch to our chunky white. So grab your white and let's begin our border. So now we're ready to begin round 1 of our border. You want the right side of your Afghan facing, and you want to go up to your top right hand corner or the beginning of row 111. So I'm going to leave about a 5 or 6 inch length. You want to drop your hook size down to a size K 10.5 or 6.5 millimeter. We're going to go up to our very top corner stitch. Now you're going to have stitches that's running up and down the side, and then you're going to have stitches that are going across your work. We're going to go into this very first stitch that goes across your work. So insert under the top 2 loops and pull your new color through. You're going to chain 1. And I'm going to leave this end hang on the side of my Afghan, and I'll knot that and weave it in when I'm all done with my border. You're going to start the repeat by working a single crochet into that very first stitch. You're going to work a double crochet into the next stitch. You're inserting under the top 2 loops, so make sure when you're working your stitches, you're always going under the top 2 loops, and that is the end of the repeat. Let's do it again. Single crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch. Again, the repeat is single crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch. I'll show you one more time. Single crochet into the next stitch and double crochet into the next stitch. And that is the end of the repeat. So go ahead and continue. Work a single crochet into the next stitch, a double crochet into the next stitch, and you're going to repeat that across the top of your Afghan until you get to the next corner, and I'll meet you there. I'm over at my first corner. I have 2 stitches remaining. This is what our pattern looks like, and yes, it's still going to want to roll. So now I'm just going to do one more repeat. I'm going to single crochet into the next stitch and then finish the top off with a double crochet into that last stitch across. Now we're going to chain 2 for the corner. And now we're going to start working down the length of our Afghan. So when you look at your Afghan, this is what it looks like when it's facing you, but you're going to turn your work and you're going to work your stitches under the top 2 loops of the edge of that stitch. So let's go ahead and start down the length of our Afghan. We're going to single crochet into the first row end stitch, double crochet into the next, and then we're going to single crochet 2 together and then double crochet into the next, and that is our repeat for working down the length of your Afghan. And that is to kind of tighten that up so you don't have a wave to your border. So let's go ahead and begin. You're going to single crochet under the top 2 loops of that first row end stitch, work a single crochet, double crochet into the next row end stitch, and now we're going to single crochet 2 together across the next 2 stitches. Insert into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. You have 2 loops on your hook. Insert into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. You just single crocheted 2 together and we decreased 1 stitch. Now we're going to double crochet into the next stitch. And again, go under those top 2 loops. And that is the end of the repeat. So let's do it again. Again, if you need help, this is where you're going to click back on the video. This is the start of the repeat. Work until I say this is the end of the repeat, and then you're going to repeat that down the length of your Afghan. So let's begin the repeat. Single crochet into the next row end stitch, double crochet into the next row end stitch, and then single crochet 2 together. Insert into the next row end stitch, yarn over and pull through. Insert into the next row end stitch, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. You single crocheted 2 together. double crochet into the next row end stitch. And that is the end of the repeat. So let's do it again. Single crochet into the next row end stitch, double crochet into the next row end stitch. Now we're going to single crochet 2 together, insert into the next row end stitch, yarn over and pull through. Insert into the next row end stitch, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. You single crochet 2 together, double crochet into the next stitch. And that is the end of the repeat. So I'll do it one more time with you, and then you can continue on your own. So again, you're going to single crochet into the next row end stitch, double crochet into the next row end stitch, and then single crochet 2 together, insert into the next row end stitch, yarn over and pull through. Insert into the next row end stitch, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. You single crochet 2 together and double crochet into the next row end stitch. And that is the end of the repeat, and you can see how that looks. So go ahead and continue. Single crochet into the next row end stitch, double crochet into the next, single crochet 2 together over the next 2 row end stitches, and end the repeat with a double crochet into the next stitch. Work this repeat down your length until you do not have enough stitches to repeat the repeat, and I'll meet you at the next corner. So I'm over at my next corner. I worked down my length, and I did not have enough row end stitches to repeat a full repeat. So again, you should have 4 row end stitches remaining. You're going to single crochet into the next row end stitch, double crochet into the next row end stitch, and then we're going to single crochet 2 together, insert into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. Insert into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Now we're going to chain 2 for our corner. You're going to swing your Afghan around, and now we're going to be working across the bottom of our Afghan, and this is why when you work in the back loop, see how easy it is to see your stitches. So we're going to go into the very first stitch. So right under the top 2 loops of that first stitch, you're going to work a single crochet. Double crochet into the next stitch. And we're just going to repeat that pattern across to the end of the row. Again, for the bottom, it's a single crochet, then a double. We are not decreasing any stitches. Single crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next, single crochet into the next stitch, and again remember to go under the top 2 loops, double crochet into the next. Let's do it one more time. Single crochet into the next stitch and double crochet into the next stitch. So go ahead and continue and work 1 single crochet into the next stitch, a double crochet into the next stitch, and you're going to repeat that across to your next corner, and I'll meet you there. I'm over at my next corner, and we're working across the bottom of our Afghan, and I have 1 stitch remaining, but I wanted to show you what it should look like. You have 1 stitch, and then you're going to have like this little side piece, which is actually the first row end stitch, but we're skipping this. It's just tiny, and we're going to go into that next stitch. So I'm going to end the bottom with a double crochet into that last stitch. You're going to chain 2 for the corner, and then we're going to swing our Afghan around, and we're going to start working down the length of our Afghan. So when you make your transition, you're going to skip this first row end stitch. It should be kind of small. We're going to go into the next row end stitch, and you're going to work a single crochet. double crochet into the next row end stitch. Then we're going to single crochet 2 together across the next 2 row end stitches, insert into the next row end stitch, yarn over and pull through. Insert into the next row end stitch, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Double crochet into the next row end stitch. So again, you have your corner chain 2, you skip that small row end stitch, that first row, single crocheted into the next, double crocheted, single crocheted 2 together, and double crocheted. Now we're ready to begin our repeat. So if you need help, this is where you're going to click back on the video to work down your length. You're going to start where I say this is the start of the repeat, work until I say this is the end of the repeat, and you're going to repeat that down the length to the last 4 rows. So let's begin. Single crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch. Then we're going to single crochet together over the next 2 stitches. Insert into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. Insert into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Your single crochet 2 together is made. Double crochet into the next stitch, and that is the end of the repeat. Let's do it again. This is the start of the repeat. Single crochet into the next row end stitch, double crochet into the next row end stitch, and then single crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches. Insert into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. Insert into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Double crochet into the next stitch. And that is the end of the repeat. So let's do it one more time together. Again, this is the start of the repeat. Single crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch. Then we're going to single crochet 2 together across the next 2 stitches. Insert into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. Insert into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. You're going to double crochet into the next stitch, and that is the end of the repeat. So go ahead and continue. You're going to single crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next, single crochet 2 together across the next 2 stitches, and end with a double crochet. Repeat that down your length, and I'll meet you within 4 stitches from the corner. I worked down my length, and now I'm over to within the last 4 stitches down the length, and we're over at our last corner. So we don't have enough stitches to do a full repeat, so we're just going to work the repeat over to that last stitch. You're going to single crochet into the next row end stitch, double crochet into the next row end stitch, and then we're going to single crochet 2 together over the last 2 row end stitches. Insert into the next row end stitch, yarn over and pull through. Insert into the next row end stitch, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So now to finish the round, you're going to chain 2 for your corner, and then we're going to go up to the top of that beginning single crochet. I know it's a little hard to see with the white background and white yarn. This is your chain 1. You're going to skip that. You want to go under the top 2 loops of that first single crochet stitch. Yarn over, pull through that stitch, and pull through the loop on your hook. Round 1 is finished. Now we're ready to begin round 2 of our border. We're going to begin and we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. This beginning chain 3 counts as the first double crochet. Now we're going to single crochet into this next double crochet. And now we're ready to begin our repeat. Very simple repeat for this round. You're going to double crochet into the next single crochet stitch, and then you're going to single crochet into the next double crochet stitch, and we're just going to repeat that across. So as you're working this pattern across, when you come to the single crochet 2 together, it has 1 stitch on top. It counts as 1 stitch. So let's go ahead and do the repeat again. Double crochet into the next single crochet stitch, then single crochet into the next double crochet stitch. So when you look at your work, you're just working the opposite of what stitch you're going in. Again, you're going to double crochet into that next single crochet stitch, and then single crochet into the top of the next double crochet stitch. Double crochet into the next single crochet stitch, and single crochet into the top of the next double crochet stitch. So go ahead and repeat that across. Double crochet into the next single crochet, and single crochet into the next double crochet. Repeat that across to your next corner chain 2 space, and I'll meet you there. I'm over at my first corner chain 2 space of round 2. So we're going to work a double crochet into the corner chain 2 space, a chain 2, and then a double crochet back into that same corner chain 2 space. So again, you worked a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet into your corner chain 2 space. So now we're just going to start our repeat. You're going to work a double crochet into the next single crochet stitch, single crochet into the next double crochet, and we're just going to repeat that down our length. Double crochet into the next single crochet, and then single crochet into the next double crochet. So go ahead and continue. Work 1 double crochet into the next single crochet, and then single crochet into the next double crochet. Repeat that pattern down to your next corner, and I'll meet you there. I'm working down my length. I just done my last repeat of a double crochet, single crochet, and we still have 1 stitch remaining down the length, and it's a single crochet. So we're going to go ahead and double crochet into that last single crochet down the length. And this is what your work should look like with that pattern. And now to work the corner, we're going to work a double crochet into the corner chain 2 space. You're going to chain 2, and then work 1 more double crochet into that corner chain 2 space. And then you're just going to swing your Afghan around. And now we're getting ready to start our repeat all over again. We're going to work a double crochet into the next single crochet, and a single crochet into the next double crochet, and we're going to repeat that across the bottom of the Afghan over to our next corner. So let's begin. Double crochet into the next single crochet, single crochet into the next double crochet, and then repeat. Double crochet into the next single crochet, single crochet into the next double crochet. Let's do it one more time. Double crochet into the next single crochet, and single crochet into the next double crochet. So go ahead and continue and work 1 double crochet into the next single crochet, single crochet into the next double crochet, and you're going to repeat that across the bottom of your Afghan, and I'll meet you at the next corner. I'm over at my next corner, chain 2 space. You ended your last repeat into the last stitch and you worked across the bottom of the Afghan. So now to work the corner, we're going to work a double crochet into the corner, chain 2 space. You're going to chain 2 and then double crochet back into that same corner, chain 2 space. Your corner is made. So we have one side to go, so I'm just going to swing my Afghan around. And now we're just going to begin our repeat again. We're going to work a double crochet into the next single crochet and a single crochet into the next double crochet. So let's begin. You're going to double crochet into the next single crochet, single crochet into the next double crochet, and then repeat. Double crochet into the next single crochet, and then single crochet into the next double crochet. One more time. Double crochet into the next single crochet, and single crochet into the next double crochet. Continue working a double crochet into the next single crochet and a single crochet into the next double crochet. Repeat that down your length and I'll meet you at the next corner. I'm over at the end of round 2 of our border. We just worked down the length. I just done my last repeat of a double crochet, single crochet, and we have one single crochet remaining. So we're going to end working down the length with a double crochet into that last single crochet stitch, and then we're going to work our corner. You're going to double crochet into the corner, chain 2 space, chain 2, and then double crochet back into that corner, chain 2 space. Now we're going to join. We're going to count up to the top of that beginning chain 3, count up 1, 2, 3, insert your hook into the top of that chain, yarn over, pull through that chain, and pull through the loop on your hook. Round 2 is finished. So now we're ready to begin round 3. We're going to start and chain 1. We're going to work a single crochet back into that same space, and now we're ready to begin our repeat. You're going to work a double crochet into the next single crochet and a single crochet into the next double crochet. So let's go ahead and begin our repeat. Double crochet into the next single crochet, single crochet into the next double crochet. Repeat again. Double crochet into the next single crochet, single crochet into the next double crochet. Let's do it one more time together. You're going to double crochet into the next single crochet, and then single crochet into the next double crochet. You're going to repeat that across the top of your Afghan, and I'll meet you at the next corner, chain 2 space. So I'm over at my first corner of round 3. We worked our repeat across and we ended our last repeat in the last stitch. So now we're going to work our corner. So we're going to work a double crochet into the corner, chain 2 space. You're going to chain 2 and then double crochet back into that same corner, chain 2 space. I'm going to swing my work around. And now we're ready to work down the length of our Afghan. Now when you look at your work, you're going to have 2 double crochet stitches here. So we're going to work a single crochet in each of these first 2 double crochet in order to start our pattern in the next stitch. So single crochet into the next stitch, the very first stitch down the length, single crochet into the next double crochet, and then we're going to start our repeat. Double crochet into the next single crochet, single crochet into the next double crochet, and we're going to repeat. Double crochet into the next single crochet, and then single crochet into the next double crochet. Let's do it one more time. Double crochet into the next single crochet, and then single crochet into the next double crochet. And that is the end of the repeat. So go ahead and continue. Work a double crochet into the next single crochet into the next double crochet. Repeat that down the length, and I'll meet you at the next corner. I'm over at my next corner. We just worked our repeat down the length. I ended with one repeat of a double crochet and then a single crochet, and you notice we have one stitch remaining. We're going to work a double crochet into this last double crochet down the length. And now we're going to work in our corner chain 2 space, work a double crochet, chain 2, and then double crochet back into that corner chain 2 space. We're going to swing our work around, and now we're going to work across the bottom of our Afghan. When you look at your work, we have 2 double crochet stitches, so we're going to single crochet in each one of those 2 double crochet. Insert into the very first double crochet, work a single crochet. Single crochet into the next stitch. So now when you look at your work, you'll notice the next stitch is a single crochet. So we're going to start our repeat. We're going to work a double crochet into the single crochet and a single crochet into the double crochet, and we're going to work that across to the next corner. Double crochet into the next single crochet. Single crochet into the next double crochet. Let's do it again. Double crochet into the next single crochet, and then single crochet into the next double crochet. So go ahead and continue. You're going to work a double crochet into the next single crochet, a single crochet into the next double crochet, and you're going to repeat that across the bottom of your Afghan until you get to the next corner, and I'll meet you there. I'm over at my next corner. We just worked across the bottom of our Afghan, and you ended your last repeat in the last stitch. So now to work the corner, we're going to work a double crochet into the corner chain 2 space. You're going to chain 2 and then double crochet back into that corner chain 2 space. We're going to spin our Afghan around, and now we're going to be working down the length. So when you look at your work, the first 2 stitches are double crochet. So we're going to single crochet into that first stitch down the length, and then single crochet into that next double crochet. And now we're going to start our repeat. You're going to double crochet into the next single crochet, and single crochet into the next double crochet. Again, the repeat is double crochet into the next single crochet, and single crochet into the next double crochet. So go ahead and continue. Work a double crochet into the next single crochet, and then single crochet into the next double crochet. Repeat that down the length to the next corner, and I'll meet you there. I'm over at my last corner. I just finished my last repeat working down the length, and you should have 1 double crochet stitch remaining. We're going to work a double crochet into the top of that last double crochet. We're going to work our corner, work a double crochet into the corner chain 2 space, chain 2, and then work 1 more double crochet into that same corner chain 2 space. And when you look at your work, we're going to have one stitch remaining, a double crochet. So we're going to work a single crochet into the top of this next double crochet. Insert under the top 2 loops, work a single crochet. Now we're going to join our yarn with a slip stitch into the top of that beginning single crochet. Now this little space here is our chain 1. That does not count as a stitch. So insert under the top of that first single crochet, yarn over, pull through that stitch, and pull through the loop on your hook. Round 3 is finished. Now we're ready to begin round 4. Round 4, we're going to chain 1. And we're going to work a half double crochet back into that same joining stitch. Yarn over, insert into that stitch, yarn over, and pull through. You have 3 loops, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. That is how you make a half double crochet. Half double crochet into the next stitch, and then we're going to work a picot stitch. You're going to chain 3, bring your hook back around to the front, insert from top to bottom through the top front loop, and then right down through the loop right below that stitch, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. It just makes a little loop on top your stitch. That is your picot stitch. So now we're going to begin the repeat. Half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, and then work a picot stitch. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, bring your hook back around to the front, insert from top to bottom through the top front loop, and then right into the loop directly below. You have 3 loops, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And you can see how your little picot stitches are forming. Let's do the repeat again. Half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, and then work a picot stitch. Chain 3, bring your hook back around to the front of your work, insert from top to bottom through the top front loop, and then right into the loop of yarn below. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. Let me show you one more time. Half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, and then you're going to work a picot stitch. Chain 3, bring your hook around, insert into that top front loop, and right into the strand of yarn below. 3 loops, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And that is the end of the repeat. So go ahead and continue. Work a half double crochet into the next stitch, a half double crochet into the next stitch, and then work your picot stitch. Repeat that again. Half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, and then work your picot stitch. Repeat that across the top of your Afghan, and I'll meet you at the next corner. I'm over at my first corner chain 2 space of round 4, and we finished our last repeat into the last stitch across the top of our Afghan, and this is what your work should look like. Now we're going to do the corner. We're going to work 2 half double crochet and a picot stitch 2 times in the corner chain 2 space. Half double crochet into the corner chain 2 space, half double crochet back into that corner chain 2 space. You're going to work a picot stitch, chain 3, bring your hook around to the front, insert from top to bottom through the front loop, and right in the strand of yarn below you have 3 loops, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. We're going to do that one more time in the corner chain 2 space. Yarn over, insert into the corner chain 2 space, work 2 half double crochet. Now we're going to work our picot stitch. Chain 3, bring your hook around to the front of your work, insert from top to bottom through the front loop, and right in the strand of yarn below, yarn over, and pull through all 3 strands of yarn. Your corner is finished. You're going to swing your Afghan around. And now we're going to be working down the length of the Afghan, and we're just going to start our repeat. You're going to half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch. You're going to work a picot stitch of a chain 3, bring your hook around to the front of your work, insert into the front loop, and right into the loop the strand of yarn below. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And that is the end of the repeat. Let's do it again. Half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch. Then you're going to work your picot stitch, chain 3, bring your hook around to the front of your work, insert from top to bottom through the front loop, and then just grab that loop below. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Let me show you one more time. You're going to continue and half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch. Then you're going to work a picot stitch of a chain 3, bring your hook around to the front of your work, insert from top to bottom through the front loop, and right into the strand of yarn below. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook, and that is the end of the repeat. So go ahead and continue working your repeat of a half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then work your picot stitch. Repeat that down your length, and I'll meet you at the next corner. I just worked down my length. I'm over at my next corner, and I have 1 stitch remaining. So in the last double crochet stitch before the corner chain 2 space, you're going to work a half double crochet. Now we're going to work our corner. So in the corner chain 2 space, you're going to work 2 half double crochets. 1 and 2. You're going to make your picot stitch, chain 3, bring your hook back to the front of your work, insert down through the top front loop, and then the loop right below on the side. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. You just made your picot stitch. And we're going to do that again, so you might want to just slide your stitches over. Work 2 half double crochet back into the corner chain 2 space, 1 and 2. Make your picot stitch, chain 3, bring your hook to the front of your work, insert from top to bottom down through the front loop and right into the loop off to the side. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Your corner is made. So now we're going to begin working across the bottom of our Afghan, and we're just going to repeat our pattern. You're going to half double crochet into the top of the next stitch, half double crochet into the top of the next stitch, and then work your picot stitch, chain 3, bring your hook to the front of your work, insert down through the top of the front loop and into the loop below. 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So let's do the repeat again. You're going to half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, and then work your picot stitch. I chain 3, bring my hook over, insert down through the front top loop and the loop below, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on my hook. So let's do the repeat one more time. You're going to half double crochet into the next stitch going under the top 2 loops, half double crochet into the next stitch, and then you're going to work your picot stitch, chain 3, bring your hook around to the front of your work, insert from top to bottom down through that front loop, and then into the loop below. I got to get that hair out of there. and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Your picot stitch is made. So go ahead and continue. You're going to work a half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then you're going to work your picot stitch. Repeat that across the bottom of your Afghan until you get to the next corner, and I'll meet you there. I'm over at my next corner chain 2 space. We just done our repeat across the bottom of our Afghan, and now we need to work our corner. You're going to work 2 half double crochet into that corner chain 2 space, 1 and 2. You're going to work your picot stitch of a chain 3, bring your hook back, insert from top to bottom through the top front loop and into the loop directly below, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And then we're going to do that again in the corner chain 2 space. Work 2 half double crochet back into the corner chain 2 space, 1 and 2. You're going to work your picot stitch of a chain 3, bring your hook back to the front of your work, insert from top to bottom through the front loop, and then right into the loop below on the side, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Your corner is made. Now you're just going to start your repeat all over again. Half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, and then work your picot stitch of a chain 3, bring your hook around to the front, insert into the top front loop and the loop directly below, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Let's do the repeat one more time. Half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, and then work your picot stitch of a chain 3, bring your hook to the front of your work, insert from top to bottom through the front loop and then into the loop directly below to the side, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So go ahead and continue and work a half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches and then your picot stitch. Half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches and then picot stitch. Repeat that down your length and I'll meet you at the next corner. I'm over at my next corner. We have 1 double crochet stitch left after you did your last repeat. We just worked down the length. This is what it looks like. We're going to finish working around by working a half double crochet into the next stitch. Then we have our corner chain 2 space. Work 2 half double crochet into that corner chain 2 space, 1 and 2. Work your picot stitch, and then work 2 more half double crochet back into your corner chain 2 space, 1 and 2. Work your picot stitch, chain 3, bring your hook to the front of your work, insert top to bottom through the front loop into the loop below. You have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And then when you look at your work, we're still going to have 2 stitches remaining until we get back over to that first stitch. So this chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so you're going to see 2 stitches. So half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, and then you're going to work your picot stitch of a chain 3. Bring your hook around to the front, insert from top to bottom through the front loop, out through the side of the loop below, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Your picot stitch is made. So now we're over at the end of our round, so we're going to join in the top of this first half double crochet. You're going to skip that beginning chain 1, insert into the top of that half double crochet stitch under the top 2 loops, yarn over, pull through that stitch, and pull through the loop on your hook. So now we are finished with our white, so I'm just going to fasten off, and I always like to fasten off a longer length because when I use a yarn needle to weave in my ends, I want to have enough yarn. So I chain 2, pull my hook up, yarn out, grab, pinch, pull down, and it creates a secure knot. And then I'll use a yarn needle and we're going to weave it in and out through these stitches and then back through and then through a third time and then just snip off the end. So I'm going to go ahead, weave in my ends, and I'll be right back and I'll show you what the finished Afghan looks like. Our Afghan is finished. This is what the final Afghan should look like. If you enjoyed today's crochet tutorial, please make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the crochet fun here on Creative Grandma's channel. So until next time, happy crocheting everyone. Bye.